Welcome to another biblically based look into today's news from Christian Voice New Zealand. Now here's Mike Bain.
Once upon a time, there was a time when you would never or should never start a podcast or any story with those words. The listener would rightly automatically think you were going to tell them a bit of a fairy story. But here we are in 2023, and I can't think of a better way to start today's episode with the words, once upon a time. So, once upon a time, the world accepted your thoughts as your own, unless they were espoused or published in any particular way. We probably can all admit that we could have been arrested for some thoughts that we've had. Mainstream media has taken people's thoughts to a new level and now publish thoughts as actual news. Opinion pieces are all through publications without challenge. And the world of the influencer is ever present to channel our thoughts into a product or a lifestyle we've never thought of. So yes, once upon a time, you could claim your thoughts to be your own. Now, ironically, back in 1949, George Orwell, when writing his dystopian novel 1984, coined the term thought crime. The way Orwell described it, it was a person's politically unorthodox thoughts, such as beliefs and doubts that contradict the tenets of the dominant ideology. This was the government of the day, and as such, having unorthodox thoughts would be against the law, hence the term thought crime. Now, oddly, Orwell's thought crime scenario is nothing new, and you may be surprised to find out that the idea has been around for centuries. Although not a crime, but Jesus warned in Matthew 5 to keep our thoughts in check. And he said, but I tell you that anyone who looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery with her in his heart. So, skipping along a few centuries, the British Treason Act of 1381 stated a man doth compass or imagine the death of our Lord the King, or our Lady his Queen, or their eldest child and heir to be, guilty of treason and subject to death. Since then, many an argument has been made in the absurdity of the law on thought. For example, back then, would it not be reasonable to think of the death of the king if he was in his 80s? Well, today could be questionable. Medieval Chief Justice Bain in 1477 said, the thought of man shall not be tried, for the devil himself knoweth not the thought of man. In a further review in 1899, Montesquieu simply stated, the laws do not take upon them to punish any other than overt acts. Well, back in 1949, it would have been hard to accept that your own private thoughts would get you arrested, as Orwell was predicting. But fast forward to today. Even I thought that this would be once upon a time a fairy tale, but no.
And now it seems that thought crime is an actual reality in Britain, where a woman was arrested in Birmingham for standing still and saying a prayer to herself.
Okay, so let's meet this terrible woman, Isabel, in the story.
I'm still trying to get my mind around the fact that I've been arrested for silent thoughts going on in the privacy of my own head. My faith is a central part of who I am. So sometimes I'd stand or walk near an abortion facility and pray about this issue. Police asked me what I was doing one afternoon near the abortion centre. I was clearly just standing there, motionless. I was completely silent. I let the police officers know that I might be praying inside my own head. That's all I was doing, thinking, lifting up my thoughts to God in silent prayer. This was enough for them to arrest me and take me to the station. Before doing this, they searched me on the pavement, even searching through my hair and confiscating the tissues from my pockets. When I was taken down to the police station, I was then grilled about what I was thinking. Later, they let me know that I've now been charged on 4 counts because of the thoughts I've been thinking and where I was thinking them. You don't have to be pro-life to see that this is wrong. Freedom of thought, conscience and belief are the most fundamental rights and are an essential part of our human identity. My name's Isabel. I'm a friend to some, a sister to others, a charity worker, a Christian. I'm not a criminal. but I've been censored.
If a woman can get arrested for admitting she was praying, who's next? The question of free expression has been debated and amended for centuries. But the actions of totalitarian governments we see operating around the world are giving us more and more reason to tread lightly in a darkening world which, unless interrupted, will see them have absolute total control of our lives. So don't stop praying. Don't stop raising to the surface the wrongs of this world. Do not, above all, submit to these authorities when it's against the will of God. When God calls you to a higher purpose, nothing can stop what he has set into motion. All the forces of darkness cannot stop what God has ordained for your life. So once upon a time is a fairy tale start. But if you don't bow down to the authorities, it's going to be you who will celebrate with the fairy tale ending. But not just with any priest, but with the one that Isaiah referred to as the Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, and Prince of Peace.
Feel free to leave your comments, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel. For more information about our work and how you can support it is available on our website, christianvoicenewzealand.com.